Saturday nights are supposed to be fun. We're supposed to have a good time. We're supposed to be happy. We're supposed to be chilling. We're supposed to be having stuff that puts a smile on your face. Instead, we had to watch that Warriors game, a game that they had under control until about a minute and change remaining in the third quarter, and then things went south in a hurry. Look, the Warriors have played 3 games in 4 nights. They were exhausted at the end of that game. That was obvious. The Warriors were missing Jonathan Kuminga. Pretty safe to say he was literally missed, besides not playing due to an illness. I think his contributions would have been welcomed on a night like this. Brandin Podziemski, he's got some issues, folks. We're going to break down a lot of what went wrong in this game. The good news, folks, the Warriors, they can afford to occasionally lose games like these. Does it make you feel better? No. But we got to find silver linings following, disasters like this. And the Warriors come away losers in San Antonio. If you're an old school Warriors fan like me, you are traumatized. That just looking at that Spurs arena should trigger you. I actually went there once and saw a game, and the Warriors lost that one as well. But regardless, let's have a good time us here on the program, and let's talk about what happened in this game tonight. Warriors Spurs. Warriors sadly don't win, but it's okay in the big picture, and I'll explain why that is. It's the Golden Days.
They always find something to nitpick, and that's because there's expectations for us to win. It was a pretty crazy night.
Let's go.
In a minute, I'ma need a sentimental man or woman to pump me up. Come on and break me off. 'Cause I get what I want and I like what I see. If you got
what happened there, man? Those long rebounds. Oh. Welcome to the Golden Days. I am your host for the evening, Cyrus Saatsaz. You can follow me on Threads and Instagram at DogWild. I'm on Twitter. You can follow me there at Surf Journalist, and the program is on all social media platforms, or at least a lot of them, at Golden Days Pod. Before we break down all sorts of things that went wrong for the Golden State Warriors tonight, let's give some love to our official sponsor, and that's Bet Online, the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, Bet Online provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen, with the largest selection of odds on everything from football, NBA, and college basketball, plus the NHL, plus UFC, plus MMA, and a whole lot more. Head to Bet Online today to get in on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. Bet Online, the game starts here. And again, the Golden State Warriors, a game that they should have won, folks. I mean, they did. It's a factual statement to say this, that the Golden State Warriors blew a 17-point lead. Now, you could be an optimist here, and I'm going to try to be. I mean, I try to just keep it real and be objective. But if you want to be an optimist, and more power to you if that's how you roll in life, you could say that, again, this was the Warriors' third game in 4 days, and you could talk about the fact that even though Jonathan Kuminga, it's debatable in terms of his value, his contributions. I think you all know how I feel. I think this kid can play. He just needs a chance. He didn't even play tonight. He was ill. We didn't get a lot of specifics on that, but in all likelihood, whatever the bug was that struck Kevon Looney, an Iron Man level player who did miss a game earlier this week because of illness, likelihood is Kuminga got the same thing, missed tonight's game, and his absence showed. They could have used him, especially his size and his easy scoring. It's sometimes you need to miss something to appreciate what you had, and maybe that's what happened with Kuminga. Podziemski, is what's going on with him is alarming, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. I thought myself, and I'm guessing if you watched the whole game, maybe you thought this as well, that the Warriors were starting to calm down the issues they were having with free throw issues and sort of redundant and turnovers, the two variables that have plagued the Golden State Warriors this season and what has otherwise been a fantastic start. Look, the Warriors have won 12 of the first 16 games. That's awesome. But Unfortunately for them in this game, those issues plagued them again. They missed crucial free throws down the stretch. They committed costly turnovers down the stretch. And this was a night where Victor Wembanyama, among many players on the San Antonio Spurs, just slowly picked apart the Golden State Warriors. And whereas the Warriors just couldn't keep it going for 4 quarters, the regressions really started to kick in late in that third quarter. The Spurs seem like the team with more energy, and they come away victorious. The Victor Wembanyama 3-point spectacle was wild. He just kept heating them, and every now and again he'll mix it up. He'll come inside, and late in the game there was one particular play where the Warriors defense was just caught completely off guard. Wembanyama, who was comfortable shooting these threes, decided to suddenly pump fake it and then drove into the paint and caught Draymond Green off guard. He committed a foul. He fouled out. And again, those games in San Antonio hurt. I hate that place. What do they call it? Like AT&T Center or whatever it is. Like I said, I went there and saw a game once myself live. This was back in 2015. And that fan base, look, man, there isn't a lot going on in San Antonio. The Alamo is not that fun. Locals rarely go there. So the Spurs are the thing to do in San Antonio. And that crowd, like you all witnessed if you watched the game on television, or maybe you were at the game, or you were listening to the great Tim Roy, whatever the case is, you probably heard that crowd, the churro eating crowd that Charles Barkley likes to mock. They came alive, and they took care of business. The Warriors, despite losing again, it's when you're playing 3 games in 4 nights, you like to forgive some of these things. Now, the downside is the Warriors, I believe, if I'm doing my math correctly here, have now lost 2 of their last 4. I should probably look at the schedule real fast just to confirm that. And there are certain things that are sticking out, like the depth is not quite as deep as it was. Obviously, the D'Anthony Melton injury was costly for the Warriors in the sense that, they thought they had their shooting guard, their starting shooting guard penciled in, and they thought that position was secure. And now I like Lindy Waters, but I don't think he's as good as D'Anthony Melton. GP2 makes up for the defense that Melton would have provided, but not the offense. And, the depth is not what it was, partly because Melton's gone, partly because Brandin Podziemski has lost pretty much all confidence in his shot. And I honestly don't know what to do with that scenario. Like, do you send him to Santa Cruz to try to regain his shooting form? I mean, if I remember correctly, was it Moses Moody's second year where he spent a decent amount of time in Santa Cruz? This is Brandin Podziemski's second year. I mean, I don't see why you can't do the same thing with him. But at this point in time, take away the ball handling and the rebounding, which he could still do, but pretty much everything else is a weakness for Brandin Podziemski. That is a concern. And I'll read to you his stat line tonight because it's alarming how little Brandin Podziemski is contributing on the court. He had 0 points again tonight. He was, the one thing about Brandin Podziemski that was a positive for the Golden State Warriors was his winning play, was making clutch, plays out there. He was decisive. He was smart. He was scoring. His defense was good. It was good enough, at least, where you weren't concerned about it. Everything that was good about Brandin Podziemski is not good now. He's completely regressed, and he had 0 points tonight. 0. He played 15 minutes, 34 seconds. And he missed his 1 3-point attempt. I don't think he should be taking any more threes, period, until he figures out what the hell is going on with his game. But he was a -14 in terms of net rating. He had a turnover in this game. In those 15 minutes, had only two assists and only 3 rebounds. The kid's struggling. And the play that stuck out to me with Brandin Podziemski, and it really stuck out because it was at a pivotal moment where this whole thing started to turn around. And that is in the late portion of the third quarter, Brandin Podziemski had the easiest 1-footer imaginable. All he had to do was just lay it up. He was right under the basket, got it, and instead of putting up the easiest bucket on the planet, He passed out, and the Warriors did not score on that play. And what I saw in that play was an individual who is scared shitless to do anything when it comes to shooting the ball. He is approaching Ben Simmons level of headspace where the dude he is not present on the basketball court. And that needs to be an issue that they have to deal with, because when we talk about the Warriors' depth, a lot of that was what Brandin Podziemski brings to the table as a 6'4", 6'5" point guard who is bigger than your traditional point guard, who gives you size out there, who gives you toughness. But he also, you could at least rely on him for the easy buckets. You could rely on him. I mean, he was doing these crazy hooks that a lot of times weren't going in, but they also were going in at a good enough clip where you weren't cringing every time. He could make the mid-range at least. He, again, he shot 43.8% in college his second year before he got drafted. And that's gone. It's very concerning. To me, of all the flags that you may have coming out of this game and out of the fact that the Warriors, I believe, have lost 2 of their last 4 now. Let me check and confirm. I can't remember when that Clippers game was. They've lost 2 of their last 4, which is, they lost to the Clippers in LA. We all remember that game, 102-99. Took care of an awful Atlanta Hawks team, barely beat the Pelicans. That game was much closer than at least I thought it should have been. And then they lose to the Spurs in a game where they had control for most of the way before everything just started to unravel at the end of the third quarter. And what happened at the end of the third, besides Podziemski passing up like the easiest bucket imaginable, you also had Kevon Looney being called for an illegal screen. We're seeing a lot of that, by the way. The illegal screen calls, and I don't know if they're justified or not, but they are being called routinely on Kevon Looney. He's got to clean that up because that foul is a turnover. Then you had Kyle Anderson, who I thought was one of the few bright spots in this game. And I don't even look at his box score yet because I never typically look at his box score. When it comes to Kyle Anderson, for me at least, it's all about the eye test and what you're seeing him do out there. And I thought he was exemplary. And I think I saw someone in the chat write real fast that Kyle Anderson should maybe take over Podziemski's minutes as the backup point guard. I don't hate that idea. I mean, when Podziemski was out for that one game because of the broken nose or the dizziness or whatever was bothering him, the Warriors didn't miss a beat. I mean, they didn't miss a step. Everything was still, the rhythm was still there, the momentum was still there, and a lot of that was Kyle Anderson taking over as the backup point guard. Maybe we need that again. But regardless, the Podziemski thing, this is very concerning. Because on top of the fact that he lost his shot and that he's lost a lot of his confidence, and when you lose your confidence as an athlete, that is, I mean, we're talking sirens blaring, we're talking panic buttons with a fist pounding down on it, not just a finger. It's a major flag, and the winning part of it is also gone. He went from a guy who entering tonight was still second on the Warriors in net rating, longtime leader in that category. I don't know, and that's plummeting clearly. Tonight, he was a minus 14 in net rating, the worst on the Golden State Warriors. There are huge issues there. You can't even play this kid at this point. I don't know if Santa Cruz is the answer. I don't know if a psychologist is the answer, but this has been the flag of the Steve Kerr era. This is why I started calling him out as a head coach, because people, the simpletons out there, just love to bring up the 9 championships, the 4 as the head coach of the Golden State Warriors. But when you pay attention to the nuance, when you pay attention to the last 5 years, and these last 5 years show a Warriors team that did win a championship in 2022, thanks almost entirely to the greatness that is Stephen Curry and the depth that was on that team. But they're a 500 team in these last 5 years. And what's alarming to me is the fact that this organization in the Steve Kerr era still has never developed a young player into a star. Ever. Kevon Looney's the closest thing to it, and he doesn't even start. Jordan Poole, we thought was maybe on the right path until he got punched out by Draymond Green. We all know how Steve Kerr and company handled that fiasco. Now the Warriors have 4 youngsters on this team who need development, who need guidance, who need coaching, who need leadership. And I sure as shit don't see it. And the Brandin Podziemski situation is a red alarm fire, man. It's a five. What do they call that in fireman vernacular in their nomenclature? Whatever they call it. What is that? 5-alarm fire. That's what this is with Brandin Podziemski. It is a massive concern. And I bring it up because this team tonight was a little thinner than usual without Jonathan Kuminga. And they needed Podziemski to contribute more than usual, and they did not get that. ATGYY mentioning that Jordan Poole was developed by the G League. Jordan Poole, by the way, that's another example of sending a player down to Santa Cruz to get your shit right. Jordan Poole was not a good player to start his career. I'm sure you folks remember the sporadic shooting, the bare minimum efficiency. He went to Santa Cruz, came back at the end of that 2021 season, and looked like a different man. Maybe that is what Brandin Podziemski needs. But whatever it is, that needs to get addressed. Because it is, like Brian_RT is saying in the chat, a red flag. It is a red flag. Now, Zal is saying the Warriors will be okay. You're probably right. It's just one loss. But at the moment, we gotta call these things out. I mean, that's a concern. Brandin Podziemski is a pivotal part of this team. Moses Moody, and again, you look at the stats, and it's disappointing in terms of what he contributed. I thought he was playing okay otherwise, but not an efficient night for him either. He was 2 of 8 from the field. He did not make a three-pointer. He came into this game shooting over 41% from deep, or it was in the 40-41 range. And tonight he flopped. He had 6 points total. They could have used his contributions. 1 assist, 1 rebound, 1 steal. Thankfully, no turnovers and no personal fouls for Moses Moody. I thought defensively he was fine, but the offense was not there. Andrew Wiggins has been one of the bright spots in these last 4 games because while the Warriors have gone 2-2, Andrew Wiggins has been kicking ass. Is there a coincidence there? I don't know. But unfortunately, Wiggins had a red start first half. Let me give you his first half numbers, and then I'll read you his total numbers to paint a picture of just how much his second half production dropped off. And again, I don't know if that's exhaustion. I don't know if that's just human nature and him being just a human who makes mistakes like we all do. But in the first half, Wiggins was torching the Spurs. Wiggins had 15 points in the first half. He was shooting an exact 50% both from the field and from beyond the 3-point line. He was 5 of 10 from the field, 3 of 6 from deep. He also had 2 trips to the free throw line. Sadly, missed a free throw following a 3-pointer that he was fouled on. Did not complete the 4-point play. That's always just a peeve of mine. Like if you make a 3 and you get fouled, you have to make that free throw. He did not, but whatever. That doesn't bear any relevance to the whole grand scheme of things. But he had 15 points. He had 5 rebounds at the half. Finished the game with 20 points and 5 rebounds. So you can kind of get an idea as to the first versus second half comparison, right? He scored 5 points total in the second half. Did not grab another rebound in the second half. And this isn't me calling Wiggins out. I mean, he was the best player on the Warriors, hands down. It just sort of gives you an idea that while I am raising flags for Podziemski, I'm not hitting panic buttons for the Warriors as a whole. They just ran out of gas in that fourth quarter there. They just did not have enough. While the Spurs just kept raining threes and everything that was missed in the first half. The San Antonio Spurs in the first half of this game were shooting abysmally. They were just 6 of 26 from deep, good for 23.1%. And then you look at their stats. Well, I'll just read to you what they did in the second half, which is like an entirely other story. The San Antonio Spurs in the second half, where they just started raining everything, where even Wembanyama just looked like he woke up and was a whole different player. The San Antonio Spurs in the second half were 7 of 21 from deep. They still only made 33% of their 3-pointers in the second half, but damn, do they heave up a whole bunch of threes, man. That is like the entire identity of that squad. And maybe that is an issue with the Warriors tonight. their perimeter D. I mean, clearly that's all the Spurs team likes to do. They put up tonight 47 3-point attempts. They only made 13 of them, but that's what they like to do. One of the problems that I thought the Warriors were having tonight is every time Victor Wembanyama, who finished this game 4 of 13 from beyond the arc, that's a 7'4" dude that just likes to chuck. And 4 of 13 is not a good clip, but a lot of his missed threes, because he's so tall and because, like, I don't know how much touch he has on his shot. I mean, when they go in, they look good, but when they don't, they're ricocheting off the rim so damn far that the rebounds that the Warriors are accustomed to normally grabbing in, let's say, like a 5 to 10 foot range, these balls were ricocheting out to like the 3-point line. These were like 20-foot ricochets, and these long rebounds were totally advantageous to the Spurs. The rebound total for tonight, just to break it down real fast, and I don't know if this tells a story or not, but the Warriors usually win this battle. They won it tonight by 1. They got 49 total rebounds tonight to 48 for the Spurs. And in terms of points in the paint, also a very a similar matchup there. 44 for the Warriors, 42 for the Spurs. The Spurs are just chuckers, dude. They just love to shoot threes. And unfortunately for the Warriors, in that fourth quarter especially, they just started falling. And the Warriors, their shots were not. The Warriors in the fourth quarter, 2 of 10 from deep. The San Antonio Spurs, not much better, 4 of 12, but they did make 2 more than the Warriors in the process. The Spurs also had 4 more field goal attempts in the fourth quarter, just to give you kind of an idea of the second chance opportunities that the Spurs had that the Warriors oftentimes did not. Still frustrating nonetheless. Stephen Curry was one individual who really looked like he ran out of gas in this game. And look, he's 36 years old. If anyone is expected to have an off night when you're playing 3 games in 4 nights, including a back-to-back on the road, it would be Stephen Curry. And despite that, look, it wasn't an awful night, but by his standards wasn't great either. He only had 14 points. That is a little concerning. He was 3 of 10 from deep. A lot of those threes normally do go right in. Tonight, they were clanking. 5 of 16 from the field. Did grab 7 boards, added 5 assists. By his standards, the turnovers were slightly reduced, but the fourth quarter, again, like the Warriors in this game total had 10 turnovers. By their standards, damn good. But 4 of those 10 were in the fourth quarter, and they were at pivotal moments. And again, this is what happens. ATGYY mentioning that Steph was limping out there. Yeah, he just looked like an old man. But again, he is kind of old. And again, when you play 3 games in 4 nights, sometimes that happens. Agree with you what the F is fashion, that this was just a horrible loss for the Warriors tonight. But again, they're 12-4. Okay, so they're, in the grand scheme of things, no major panic buttons. A touch of madness going down the conspiracy route, saying that I don't believe Jonathan Kuminga was ill. I think he just didn't want to play. I don't think that is true. But and then Brian _RT is asking if Kuminga was playing, do you think they would have won? I mean, look, they blew a 17-point lead. They were in this game until the very end. A lot of the plays that cost the Warriors down the stretch, again, these long rebounds, these second chance points. The Warriors themselves going through a massive scoring drought in the fourth quarter. I'm sorry. At least, my notes showed that the Spurs were on a 27-9 run in the fourth quarter. They outscored the Warriors in that fourth quarter, 33-13. So could the Warriors have used a 6'7", 22-year-old who's known for his athleticism? Yes, absolutely. Would they have won? Who the hell knows, man? I mean, I do feel like their likelihood would have increased if Kuminga played. I guess if there's narratives that are going to come out of this game, potentially, one could be Kuminga looking good in all this, because the team did not win in a night where they could have won, or it could have been different if the Warriors had one of their better bigs by their standard playing, and Kuminga, at least until very recently, was routinely in the closing lineup for this team. So I'll answer your question with yes, but in no way, shape, or form is that a confident prediction, because it's just a prediction. And the gamer F2P in the chat writing, you can't have Draymond and Pods not scoring. Yeah, Draymond Green had a bit of an off night tonight. I couldn't tell if he was just overwhelmed because he didn't have much help. I couldn't tell if he was tired because he's 34 years old playing, 3 games in 4 nights. He did not hit a 3 tonight. And I imagine he had a good streak going there. I don't know if you can believe this or not, but it is true, at least entering tonight's. Draymond Green was the Golden State Warriors' leading 3-point shooter at approximately 45%, but he did not hit a 3 tonight. Draymond Green on the season, in terms of his 3-point shooting after tonight, I don't know if these numbers are updated, but yeah, he was at 45.3% entering tonight's game, which unfortunately they lost, and he went 0 for 3 in this outing. He was going up for layups that weren't going in. It was just a bad night offensively for Draymond. 0 of 5 from the field. He had 3 3-point attempts, missed all 3, had 1 trip to the free throw line, missed 1 of those 2, and that happened late in the game. The Warriors, would clinch this loss for him, and it was just it just doesn't sit well in the gut when that happens. Draymond missed 1 of 2 free throws near the end. Kevon Looney missed both his free throws at the end. And then Draymond soon after that fouled out of this game on a play where Wemby decided to actually drive instead of putting up a 3. I think he did like a pump fake, penetrated inside. Draymond got caught off guard. He rotated over to help. Wemby passed it to, I forgot who he passed it to, and then Draymond just whacked at the arm of whoever got that ball, and that was game, and that was foul out time for Draymond Green. So the point is, offensively, he sucked. Did grab 7 boards, did have 8 assists, but again, he fouled out of this game. And in his 1 trip to the free throw line down the stretch, they needed those free throws. He only made 1 of 2. So 1 point, 7 rebounds, 8 assists, another triple single for Draymond Green. I agree. If Podziemski and Draymond are not scoring, they're in trouble. There's no way to spin that. B40 in the chat writing, I only want this. I'm sorry if I'm not following what you're writing here, but Mo slow-mo, I think, is the point you're trying to say. You want more minutes for Kyle Anderson. I agree. He's one of the bright sides of this team, and I do feel that they could have used more than 12 minutes, 53 seconds of slow-mo, especially when you consider he was 3 of 5 from the field, especially when you consider he's one of the highest IQ players on this roster. And again, the box score will never reflect his contributions. So when you look at the box score, you're going to see 6 points. Okay. 5 rebounds. That's not bad in 12 minutes, 53 seconds. But he also had an assist. 1 turnover, which isn't bad. But again, slow-mo, I'm with you, man. He's one of the bright sides on this roster. He's also, sadly, the tallest player on this roster. I do wish he played more as well. I'm totally with you. Just a rough night. Just a rough night for the Warriors. But the good news is it's 1 game, and Kuminga did look good in the grand scheme of things because his absence was felt. There's no mistaking that. What the F is fashion writing? The pods experiment needs to stop. Mick in the chat writing, we need a trade. We'll address that on a future show. A game like tonight definitely makes me lean towards they could maybe use an upgrade here, and especially with Brandin Podziemski sliding into the slump that he's currently in. Han Solo Dolo is writing that the refs were calling the usual, and I throw in usual, BS phantom calls that lead straight to points, and they weren't making these same calls when the Warriors were being aggressive. Yeah, the refs were not on top of it tonight, per se. I don't know if you can blame them for the Warriors losing this one. The Spurs did have 6 more free throw attempts, but the Warriors, again, like you look at the turnovers, and that was not a huge issue for them tonight. The ones they did commit, and they committed 10 turnovers total, but they committed 4 in the fourth quarter, and those were late, and they were costly. They were momentum killers, but the free throw issue has not gone away. And again, I'll go through this. This is something that's been plaguing them all season. Andrew Wiggins was 4 or 5. That's 80%. That's good. Although, again, the one he missed was would have completed a 4-point play, and he missed that one. Draymond Green, 1 of 2. Stephen Curry had 1 free throw attempt, and I think that was for like a technical, or I forgot what the situation was. It was some sort of unusual play there. But Moody hit his 2 free throws. Kevon Looney missed his 2 free throws. And again, those were late in the fourth quarter, costly. And then Kyle Anderson had 1 free throw attempt, and he missed that. So the Warriors were 8 of 13 from the free throw line. That is not good either. But yeah, I agree with J-Rock that this is not a night where I'm going to point the finger at the refs and say they were the reason the Warriors lost. Now, the fourth quarter and really the end of the third quarter is the reason why the Warriors lost. Costly turnovers, lack of aggression, lack of energy, poor shooting. The Warriors in that fourth quarter, again, and that quarter is really where it all fell apart. They shot 21.1% from the field. That's awful. They were just 4 of 19 shooting from the field in the fourth quarter. You're almost never going to win games when your shooting just vanishes like that. Yeah, I was checking to see if I had anything else in my stats about that. There was a stretch where the Warriors went scoreless. And I want to find that real fast because the time period of it was interesting to me. In the fourth quarter, and the way I find things like this is I go to the play-by-play log, and then I see when the last time was that the Warriors scored. And then I just kind of, do the math. So when the fourth quarter started, the Warriors didn't score until the 10:33 mark when Trayce Jackson-Davis, who I thought had a good game, not a great game, but I thought he had a good game. I'm not putting this on him, dunked the ball. Warriors didn't score again until the 9:28 mark when Kyle Anderson made a bucket. Warriors didn't score again until the 7:55 mark when Andrew Wiggins made 2 free throws. Warriors didn't score again until the 6:38 mark when Stephen Curry made a 3, a 29-footer. Then after Steph made that 3, and this was at the 6:38 mark, and at this point, the Warriors led this game 90-86. They didn't score again. Oh, my God. So the Warriors went scoreless from the 6:38 mark of the fourth quarter all the way to the 2:08 mark of the fourth quarter. And if someone out there wants to do the math for me so I don't have to tonight, I would love that. But that's approximately 4 minutes and 30 seconds. If someone wants to confirm that. 4 minutes and 30 seconds, the Golden State Warriors went scoreless. And they finally got a point at the 2:08 mark when Draymond Green made 1 of 2 free throws. When the Warriors scored at the 6:38 mark, that was a Stephen Curry three-pointer. They led 90-86. When the Warriors scored again, 4 minutes, 30 seconds later, to have a scoring drought like that in the fourth quarter, that late in the quarter, that's going to cost you almost every time. And so they were leading 90-86. When they scored again, it made the score 97-91 in favor of the Spurs. So that was the period where this all fell apart. Harrison Barnes, I'm sure, was relishing this. I don't know if you folks are aware, but Harrison Barnes and Draymond Green do not like each other. And the dislike is one direction. Draymond, I don't think, has any ill feelings toward Harrison, but Harrison Barnes does not like Draymond Green, as evident by the fact that Harrison Barnes did not invite Draymond to his wedding. And Draymond thinks the reason is that Draymond pushed for Kevin Durant to come to the Warriors in 2016, which resulted in Harrison Barnes being out. But anyway, so Harrison Barnes has been a nice pickup for the Spurs. Unfortunate for the Warriors. And you get the result that the Warriors had. I want to see if there's any sound that has come down here from Kerr or anyone else following this game. And so far, I don't see it. I did see Kerr on TV, where one of the most rotten human beings on the planet is filling in as a host for the Warriors flagship TV station tonight. So I'm not watching it, but nothing going on there in terms of sounds. We're not going to have that. What's going on in the chat real fast? Ooh, LT writes with a hot take. Steve Kerr hates Kuminga. I hope that's not true. I really hope that's not true. Romar Hernandez, I do agree with your take, which is that Harrison Barnes is an anti-Draymond weapon for the Spurs. Agreed. Wholeheartedly agree. Steve MC in the chat writing that the Warriors need to trade Brandin Podziemski. That I also agree with. Jay in the chat is writing, stop starting Lindy Waters, start Kuminga. Well, that could not happen tonight regardless. Big picture, I could understand why you would say that. Lindy Waters in this game, who I thought played much better than he did in the Pelicans game, and the stat sheet at least will confirm that. He made some big three-pointers in this game. He finished 3 of 8 from beyond the arc, which is good. It's good enough. That's about 38% approximately. You can live with that, but he was just 4 of 12 from the field, 33% for your field goal percentage. You cannot live with. That is not good. So we finished this game with 11 points, 4 rebounds, and an assist. Had no turnovers, so that's a good thing. And he also had a block. But look, I personally I don't have any emotions or feelings about Lindy Waters starting. I don't mind it. He spaces the floor. What I saw tonight in terms of the starters is just exhaustion, except for Andrew Wiggins. He had a phenomenal first half, and then that obviously he came back down to earth in the second half. Trayce Jackson-Davis, I thought, was fantastic. And if there's any good news in everything that's been going on lately, especially in these past 4 games where the Warriors are now just 2-2, it's that Trayce Jackson-Davis's minutes have gone up a little bit. And I like seeing that. He finished this game tonight with 12 points and 8 rebounds, shot 50% from the field. I thought he was doing a good job in terms of keeping Wemby out of the paint and forcing him into being a three-point shooter. But regardless, it wasn't enough. Another player who I did notice plenty of in this game, who I've been talking a lot about, is Gary Payton II. GP2 played just shy of 13 minutes, more specifically 12 minutes, 54 seconds. He made a three-pointer tonight, which was it was a relief to see that when you consider the fact that he's been awful offensively to start the year. If you're wondering, why are you being so harsh towards GP2? He's our boy. He's a huge reason they won the title in 2022. I totally agree with you. I hate criticizing GP2, but I live in the present, especially when it comes to this show and covering the Warriors. And it's all about what have you done for me lately? And GP2, when it comes to his stats lately, this season more specifically, he is shooting. Now, granted, this does not include tonight, where he was 1 of 2 from deep. Thankfully made a three-pointer. But entering tonight's game, he was shooting just 16.7% from deep. Let me repeat that number one more time because it's that bad. 16, like Joe Montana. 16, not 60, 16.7% from deep. That is terrible. Now, granted, he did make a three-pointer tonight, and that was huge. And it was a timely bucket. They needed it. And I think he even made like a layup in this game, although he also couldn't finish a layup at approximately the 1:10 mark of the second quarter. And then right after that, he was called for an illegal screen. So what I'm seeing from GP2 is I see someone who's still an elite defensive player. But as someone I thought astutely, I had this great back and forth with someone on Threads earlier, and he was trying to make the argument, well, GP2 is still like a beast. And that's where I drew the line. I was like, GP2, I don't think you can use that word beast and associate that with GP2 anymore. He is no longer that guy. Still an awesome defender, but he's not like the guy who would literally drive people insane out there. And offensively, he's regressed. The fact that he can't even be counted on to make easy layups or dunks. That corner three used to be consistent, and that's not routinely dropping anymore. That's a concern. And I would say it's even a bigger concern, if not for the fact that Brandin Podziemski is legitimately struggling. They've got some problems. Yeah, Evanistics, I wholeheartedly agree with you, who writes, he's more specific situationally than ever. You're absolutely right. And against a team like the Spurs, I don't see the situation. So Me Miles one in the chat saying the Golden State Warriors need a DeMar DeRozan. That would not hurt. I would not mind a player like that. The good news is the Warriors have assets. So if they want to hit the trade market, they've got some resources that they can offer to another team and make that deal a reality. Karuma in the chat, who's practically spamming it. Dude, please stop so you don't annoy other people. As a spammer writing, Wemby will be the GOAT. Oh, I'm sure LeBron James fans will love that. Free my boy Jonathan Kuminga for Cam Thomas. Do you mean Cam Johnson of the Brooklyn Nets? Because Cam Thomas would be an absolute waste. The Warriors would never want that dude. Nick the Greek. Thanks for being cool about me calling you that. Writing, I would rather have a taller forward for GP2. I wholeheartedly agree with you there. M.I. Miles in the chat asking how many picks do the Warriors have? I believe if they want to make a trade at this moment in time, they have 2 first-rounders and a pick swap that they can offer. So when you couple that with some of their young assets they currently have, let's say for the sake of argument, we're talking about a trade to that includes Jonathan Kuminga. And Giannis is off the table for the year because of the Milwaukee Bucks are going to be just good enough to placate Giannis until next offseason. And then he's, I think, almost certainly going to want out of that miserable situation. But I just don't know who's out there. I mean, Cam Johnson would be great, but I don't want to give up Kuminga for him personally. I mean, I would begrudgingly accept it, but and no, okay, Nato. See, there's some individuals like Nato Santo who are just haters, right? And Nato, I don't need to keep you here. All right. So if you want to be an asshole, do it somewhere else or just spectate. Okay. Because you're literally interrupting the show now with your negativity, with your lies. That's the part I don't like. I don't take pleasure trashing GP2. So you're a lying asshole for that. You also write that I look happy. I do. Because Kuminga was out and they lost. Keep it up, man. All right. Just write one more thing and you're out. Okay. I don't mind contributions. I don't mind disagreements. I do mind when you're a lying piece of shit and you have like a grudge against me. Like clearly you got beef with me and that's fine. Here, I'll even put the link if you want to come on the show and express to me what it is you have against me personally. But if you're not going to come on the show and you're just going to be a troll, get the F out of here, man. Like there's just no room for that, period. So the link is right there. Okay. If you want to come on the show, be a dick to my face, but stop with the keyboard warrior crap, especially when what you're writing is blatantly bullshit. It's not true. So anyways, I just want to see if there's anything else in the chat real fast. Yeah, and Evanistics, I wholeheartedly agree with you here as well that at this point, and this is very astute, Evanistics writes, at this point, the only reason I'd want to trade Jonathan Kuminga is to give him a better situation for growth. Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. What the way he's being treated is very unfortunate, man. It's very unfortunate. Hey, now, at least Kev F is now a new member. Thanks for being a Golden Dazer. And now every time you write something, your chats will be highlighted. I'm definitely reading it. Now, Vintage MRJ writes in the chat, what's your opinion on the recent losses against these last teams in terms of rankings? Look, 2 losses in 4 games, right? And we know one of them, the Clippers, for some reason have the Warriors number. And part of that is Norman Powell just hitting these shots at an absurd clip. Part of it is James Harden just being a pest, and he has his way. And the James Harden minutes were really when I started noticing GP2's decline, because the GP2 of old would have clamped James Harden and prevented him from having any sort of positive impact in those 2 games. The GP2 of now cannot shut James Harden down. And when I saw that is when I kind of started to realize that this ain't the same guy, man. But in regards to the rankings, look, I mean, again, I'm not going to read too much into tonight. They lost to a Spurs team that is good, and the Warriors are playing their 3rd game in 4 nights, so they were tired. You could see it. Kuminga was out. And I know Kuminga's haters will have their feelings about him, but his absence did play a part in this. Brandin Podziemski's regression, that's a massive flag, dude. And we might just, I might need to bring like experts on this show to get second and third opinions on that. But Evanistic's adding as well that did Ty Lue outcoach Kerr in those games? Maybe. I mean, Ty Lue was a good coach. So I'm not hitting panic buttons. I'm not freaking out. And like Ramar Hernandez writes in the chat, the Spurs are above 500. The Spurs are a good team. I'm not saying they're a great team that's going to compete for a title, but they could be a playoff team. And given how young most of their key pieces are, they're just going to get better. They also got Harrison Barnes on that team, which is a drastic upgrade from what they had last year, which is nothing really. The Chris Paul addition has clearly made a difference there, and he's playing 29 minutes a game. It's absurd. Mitchell and Ness in the chat writing, I'm telling y'all that Draymond Green will be gassed these next few games. He can't last a whole year anymore. I mean, look, again, 3 games in 4 nights. That is not the norm. You're never going to see that in the playoffs. You're rarely going to see that the rest of the season. Let's just not. I'm not freaking out, is what I'm trying to say. I'm not worrying at all right now. Now, Nick the Greek in the chat, and by the way, Abraham De Leon, really quickly, you're absolutely right, and this is entirely the role of a head coach, which is what you wrote. Quote: minute distribution. That is Kerr's fault. That is the power, the gatekeeping power of a head coach. They control who plays when. And you're right. So, and that is where, like, again, Kerr as a coach, in terms of the system he's implemented, in terms of the schemes he's running, fantastic. I mean, there's no doubt he is a savant when it comes to actual coaching. But the personnel side of it, we saw how he was as a GM with the Suns. We've seen the players that he actually likes and prefers. He's got flaws there. He's got issues there. And he also still has never developed a young player. That's a flag. But again, with that said, oh, look at Nato in the chat. Hello, friend. Showed up, man. What's going on with you? How you doing?
What's up, man? I don't
good to see you. So what do you think I hate GP2, man?
No, see, okay, GP2 is, I feel really grateful for GP. Sorry, my English is not that good.
It's okay.
Good. I'm not trying to troll you or anything. I appreciate you. I appreciate your work. I'm
glad you're here.
I watch you from
Here's
Hong
what
Kong,
I've learned.
man.
No, and Nato, real fast. I mean, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I just have to say this real quickly. What I've learned in life is when two people actually communicate, you're not going to get differences out of it, right? Communication is the key to like 99% of the issues we have in this world. I am so glad you're here, dude. And I will absolutely respect that English is not your first language. I'm guessing that's true based off what you said.
Yes,
I will definitely respect that. Go ahead. Floor is yours, man.
Yeah, just, man, I have mad respect for GP2. I think you're saying that his offense is like coming off a little bit. I think just sometimes it's the timing and stuff like that, but his defense is still elite to me. JK, I think like I saw what you talked to Wick Berry the other day.
Yeah.
He was right, man. JK, I wish he is the superstar that we wish him for, but there are a couple of things he need to work. But sometimes it's hard for the team to give him minutes. And then if we want to do well in the game, and then if we give him minutes, and then sometimes he's kind of disappointing, like, to be frankly. I mean, but true. I think he will be much better. Like after one season, I think there's another season or two for him to flourish. That's the only thing. I think he will be a superstar next season. But on the defense side, he still need to work on that defensive stand. He always let people pass him by, but he get that like quickness, but he couldn't use it. I don't know, man. But
all right, well, Nato, let's take a step back. And Hansel Ordolo, I see you in the Give me Han Solo Dolo. I'll get to. I promise. You're next. But let's take a step back, Nato. Let's go back to GP2 first.
Okay.
I wholeheartedly agree with you that he's still an elite defensive player. My whole point with GP2 is this, and there's two things that concern me. One is he's still great at defense, not where he was when they won the title 3 years ago. Do you agree with that or disagree with that?
A little bit disagree because there's only 15 games so far, but I see where you're coming from. He's not as elite, maybe, but he's not dropping that much, I guess.
Fair. That's fair. And again, look, I still think he's a fantastic defensive player. It's just the GP2 we saw 3 years ago was as close to a lockdown defender as you're ever going to find in the history of this beautiful game. And again, the two losses to the Clippers was really where it started to become noticeable, because GP2 3 years ago would just drive James Harden insane. He would force James Harden to be irrelevant. And he wasn't irrelevant in those two Clippers games, man. And so I saw that, and I've seen a few other games that the Warriors have played. The Rockets game, for example, like he couldn't even play in that game because people were beating him routinely. And then the offense is not the same, dude. Like he used to be like a high-flying machine. Like you could throw lobs to him and his head would be hitting the rim, and it would be no problem. And now he's like missing layups. And my whole point is, like, GP2, his value came from being literally the best defensive player in the NBA. You could live with the offense that was average at best with that defense. But now the offense is taking a step back. And I don't know, man. That's my whole point with GP2. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I hate criticizing him. Personally, I love the kid, dude. I love him. I call him a kid. He's almost 32. But I love him personally. It just, on the court, it's just there are times where I wonder if like those minutes are well spent. But that's just me. I don't know. We could agree to disagree if you feel differently, because this is all opinion, right? This is all subjective. What do you think to that? What I just said?
Yeah, I can understand. But let me rethink about it. He's coming off a little bit, but he's still elite. I think he still deserves some time. Like when he play, I kind of feel like comfortable on our defense, like, because he's really good on team defense and then helping out everybody. But sometimes if JK do that, but JK improves a lot this year on the team defense. Yeah, I feel much better. But yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. So sorry about the dog barking, but I just want to understand if this was a communications breakdown or if you really mean this. Like, do you really think that I'm happy that the Warriors lost tonight because Kuminga didn't play?
Just Choi. Yeah.
Oh, all right, that's fair. Well, and again, that's fine, man. And that's where I don't mind the shit talking. I don't mind any of that, dude. This is why I'm happy you're here, dude, because now that I have a face and now that we've communicated, now I will know the next time you talk shit that it's just Nato. Is it Nato? Is that how you pronounce it, or Nato?
Yes, Nato. Yeah.
Nato. Now I'll just know it's just Nato talking shit, right? And that's the beauty of
talk shit, man. So,
here's the reality, Nato. I am never happy when the Warriors lose, and I hate that I feel that way. They literally affect my emotions, dude. Like my Saturday night went from being one that I was going to be happily comfortable with. I'm going to be chilling with the dog, watching whatever movie I put on, probably lighting up a joint and just having a beautiful Saturday night where I'm in bliss. The Warriors won. Now they lost, and I'm going to be obsessed thinking about that freaking game all night, and I'm going to be this peeved. I'm going to be annoyed. And I never am happy when the Warriors lose. That's the point I just want to make. Even though I try to cover this team objectively, it sucks, dude. I go mad when they lose. I hate it. How do you feel when they lose? Are you like me or no?
I hate it today, man.
Hate it.
Boss, man.
Hate
I don't know
it, dude.
what to do with this kid, man.
Hate it, bro. I hate it. And my thing with Kuminga, and I'd love to get your take on this before I go to Han Solo Dolo, who's next. And Rick Barry. So here's the thing with Rick Barry. Rick Barry is an insider. Like his face is on the walls of Chase Center everywhere you go. Jerseys hanging up in the ceiling up there. So he can't be as critical as I can because if he sits there and rips Kerr, for example, for Kuminga's minute distribution, he might get a call from Kerr like later that same day. And he doesn't want to deal with that shit. And I don't blame him. I don't have to deal with that. So I can be a little more forthright and honest, and I also don't care. So Rick is oftentimes, when it comes to criticizing Kerr, I don't know if you've noticed that. Like he's always like playing a very like diplomatic game when it comes to discussing Kerr's coaching. But I just don't know. And I don't disagree with what Rick said. And it sounds like you agree too, that Kuminga is not consistent. Fair. That is a fair criticism. My only pushback to that is, how can anybody be consistent if their coach and team is not being consistent with them, right? Like if he's not getting like a steady run in terms of 25, 30 minutes a night, like one game he's playing 30, one game he's playing 15. This is a kid who has like very little basketball experience, and there's no better way to teach than by having someone do what they're trying to learn, right? And if he can't play, I don't know how he's ever going to be consistent. I don't know how he's ever going to be good. That's my whole point with Kuminga. Like, I think he's a good kid, and I am rooting for him, but I just want him to get a fair shot. What do you think about that?
As much as we need to win like last year, and I think this year we need to win too. So, like standing from like the coaching side, like you want the kid to develop, but you also want to win. When you see some mistake, because I've been coaching for quite some time in Hong Kong.
Is that where you live right now? In Hong Kong?
Yeah.
You're in Hong Kong like right now?
Yeah.
Incredible. I love the international audience, dude. Like people are just all over the world. That's continue on. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So like when you see that situation, like you see a kid, you want to develop them, but there are games that you cannot really lose. So you have to go to another option. You talk to that kid, like after the game, like how to improve and let him do stuff. I think the game time is not for you to practice, in the sense that, but of course there are some teams that they already give up. They want some lottery picks and things like that. That's the other like kind of situation. But for our team, man, I kind of like agree with Wick. Like I think JK need to do better, because like there's something that he needs to improve, like free throws and defense, and then that's two parts. If he improves, he can be a starter, I guess.
Yeah, the defense thing, we can agree to disagree. Like, I think he's fine defensively, and he's just going to get better. And the stats confirm it. Like, he's not a great defensive player, but he's not bad. Like, he's not. If he makes a mistake out there, it's a few times a game, just like anyone does. I don't see it at like an unusual pace where it's hurting the team. But I guess what my thing with Kuminga is, I would agree with you if giving him time would hurt the team. Then I totally support the argument of he shouldn't be out there, right? But I don't see him hurting the team. Like the free throw shooting, you're right. This year it's abysmal. Same with a lot of players. Last year he was shooting 75% from the free throw line. That's good. That's fine. You can live with that. So I don't know, man. His per 36 numbers. This is a stat that reflects an individual if their stats got elongated to 36 minutes. Sorry if I'm telling you what's obvious. He's averaging 22 points a game. He's averaging almost 7 rebounds a game. His per 36 numbers are fantastic. And every time I see that, that's when I'm always like, dude, I just wish you got to run, because I don't see him hurting the team when he gets 30 minutes. Like, I feel like every time I've watched him play 30, the Warriors are winning those games. And now, granted, some of them maybe are garbage time minutes, but still, I just don't see him hurting the team. And for some reason, Kerr just doesn't agree with me. And maybe you don't either, but that's
this
okay.
Season, yeah, you're right. This season, he's spectacular.
And by the way, before we go, and Han Solo, SG Sports Talk, thank you for waiting. You're coming up. By the way, how is Hong Kong, dude? I'm seeing your country in the news in terms of democracy.
Yes.
Like, kind of, can you even talk, or is that can I not even ask that of you?
Not
it's okay,
sensitive, man.
Fair enough. Yeah, I don't want to get you in trouble, so we'll move on. Nato, thank you, brother. It was really nice to meet you, and I'm glad that we actually communicated, and night and day better than just texting. Right?
I just want to say, I always appreciate your effort, your passion.
Thanks, sir.
And then I always turn to your live right after the game. Yeah,
I'm always here, brother. I'm always here. And let's hope they win. And let's hope there's 2 losses in 4 games was just an anomaly, and they get back on track, man. Nato, come back on soon, will you?
Yep, definitely.
It was great to see you. Thank you for coming on the show, brother. Really, I genuinely mean that. Thank you. Nice to meet you. Have a good night, man. Han Solo Dolo.
Yo.
Floor is yours. I saw you on the camera a moment ago. Turn that thing back on, dude. Come on. There you go, dude. Look at you lighting up. Is that a cigarette or is that a joint? What is that?
That is a joint, sir.
Bravo. I'm joining you in just a second as soon as we're off the air. How are you doing, man? What's on your mind, brother?
Annoyed, but not too mad. This game was annoying. It's to me, I think it's the refs, man, for this game. I wholeheartedly believe that it was the refs for this game. I saw the whole momentum shift. It was terrible.
And that third quarter, right? Were you talking about the illegal screen on Looney? So are you saying that was a BS call?
Yes, and they never show the replay for some reason. Like usually they would show you the replay so you can see what happened, and they just quickly move that on. So
I hate that. I hate that too, dude. There was like 2 calls there. I think there was also a call on Draymond right around the same time too. But were there any plays? Oh, I lost sports talk. Were there any plays that stick out to you besides what I mentioned? Like what were the moments in the game that really like are just eating you alive, dude, in terms of the refs screwing over the Warriors?
The TJD foul from Wemby, they should have called that one because that totally changed the momentum. They got hype off a block that was clearly a foul.
Yeah.
So that changed the momentum. And then Kerr pulled TJD out after that play. And he was playing well. So that really pissed me off why Kerr went small. I'm tired of the small ball. I'm very tired of the small ball.
I'm with you, dude. I'm with you on that.
JK should be traded to another team so he can actually play. I think he should go to Indiana.
Who is this? Which player?
JK should go to Indiana.
Who'd you trade him for? Miles?
See if they can get Miles Turner.
That's an interesting one, man. I mean, it would be a win now. I wouldn't doubt that. What about Trace Jackson Davis, man? Are you saying that he's not good enough for you? You want him to be on the bench and Miles Turner to get those minutes?
Yes, because Miles Turner is a floor spacer, so we can space the floor, and then he's one of the best shot blockers in the league. Draymond's been wanting a shot blocker. He's been asking for that for years now, and we just don't give him one. We gave him TJD, but if you can give Draymond a floor spacer, a shot blocker, and a lob threat, we're automatically going to the finals.
What are you feeling about Bill M here dropping 5 ducats? Thank you, sir. Writing that Jonathan Kuminga is always my pet peeve because offensively, I think he can be great, but they don't put him in positions to use his best talent. Your thoughts on that, Han Solo? Is that what you want to call you, Han Solo? Like the captain of the Millennium Falcon? Like that's how you roll?
Yeah, but I'm Dolo with it. I'm by myself.
What are your thoughts on Kuminga, man? Let's bring a fresh perspective on this tonight.
I don't think Kuminga he's just not in the position to succeed on this team. He just doesn't fit in. He doesn't have he has the floor spacing, but Kerr always wants to go small. So it doesn't give him the ability to use his talents.
So you're sitting here telling me that in a game like basketball where height is super important, it bothers you that Kerr likes to play a bunch of hobbits out there? Like, I don't get it, Han Solo. I don't understand why you're so upset. I mean, I think playing midgets in a game that respects tall people is perfectly fine, dude. It's
exactly. And you have Steph, he has to overplay now because he's playing out of position. And every team is bigger than us. Pretty much every team we play is bigger than us. So we have to go extra hard on the boards, even though we're first in the league for catching rebounds. We still have to put in extra effort. And Steph obviously is not going to bring it every night. You can tell he's tired.
Steve Kerr acknowledged that following last year, which I was at least grateful to hear it, right? And just to let people know, in case they didn't follow what you just said, Han Solo, rebounding takes energy. So when the Warriors led the league in rebounding next year, impressive feat, it took a shitload of energy to do that, and it could have affected them in other facets of the game in a negative manner. So did I articulate what you're trying to say?
Exactly. That's why Steph's not going to have his legs if he has to constantly rebound battle with bigger guys to get the boards. And then he has to guard up bigger guys.
Yeah.
And then you expect him to have the legs for offense at 37. He's not LeBron James where he can just football play, charge through guys all day and not get called for it.
You are 100% correct on that, dude. By the way, Han Solo, do you know how much $398 in Hong Kong money is? Is that like $2 or $3? It can't be 398, dude. It can't be. That is not an equal conversion. But Nato, thank you very much for that, man. That was incredibly kind of you. Where are you at in the world, Han Solo? Where are you joining us from tonight?
I live in Saginaw, Michigan.
Are you like the second person who's come on the show from Saginaw? There was someone here, like, do you remember that show? It was like 2 weeks ago. There was another dude here who joined us from Saginaw. That is fascinating,
Yep.
dude. Are you friends with is Saginaw small enough where you kind of bump into the Green family? I know Draymond's mom is like the queen of that city, right?
No.
Or no, I don't know.
I don't run into the Green family. I have ran into his dad does work at Fabiano's, so I've ran into him.
What is that, a restaurant? Fabiano's?
It's a beer trucking company.
Okay, gotcha.
So he delivers beer. His dad delivers beer down here.
Wait, so
I guess
Draymond
don't talk to him.
Wait, Draymond is not taking care of his dad? Like his dad's out there working like a 9 to 5?
Yeah.
Like,
Yep. I talked to him about it. I was like, so you're not gonna get the Draymond treatment, and I guess they don't. They don't talk to each other. They don't say shit.
Yeah, it happens, man. It happens. You're I don't know what happened there. I don't know if he was absent or what went down, but that sucks for dad. But you should have been there for your kid, right? That's where it goes. Traveling your Kita saying, "Who else is smoking right now?" As soon as I'm off the air, I can't. I refrain just because there's no chance in hell I could be as good on behind the mic if I'm high, but. I will be joining all of you in just a second. Dude, in Saginaw, Michigan, man, if you want to buy a joint, are there dispensaries? Is it as modern as it is here in California?
They are everywhere on every corner. There's like 3 next to each other, and they're building one every day. I don't like it. They got more weed shops up here than jobs.
Yeah. Well, I hope you're enjoying your Saturday night, dude. That was a brutal loss. Why the hell are you a Warriors fan anyways, man? You're all the way up in Michigan. You should be a Pistons fan. What's going on with you?
It was Steph and Monta Ellis. They reminded me of me and my brother, small guys that can hoop.
Steph is
got me into.
Dude, Steph his influence is insane. I want a 5th title for him so bad, dude. And I'll tell you, I'm sure
the NBA is not going to do it. I don't believe they're going to give Steph his 5th because LeBron James is,
But Under Armour? You think Under Armour is holding him back?
Yeah, it's Under Armour because I feel like they're influencing the games. That's why if Steph can get the foul calls that he deserves, he would average 40 efficiently. Wow. And he'll be in the GOAT conversation. And I don't think they want that. Because of Under Armour, he makes too much money for them.
Here's the thing. I actually agree with you, dude. I do think, look, the biggest agenda in any industry institution is money. And Nike has so much influence over the game of basketball that even though technically that is like a conspiracy, right? Because we don't have any hard evidence. Jaylen Brown was public about it when he got slighted for the Olympics. And I don't disagree with anybody who says that, dude. I really do. Because Nike is so much power that I could easily see them trying to sabotage just so their athletes get an extra edge. Let's hope you're wrong, dude, is all I'm trying to say, man.
LeBron James has a lifetime contract with Nike.
Yeah.
So
let's hope,
there you go.
Let's hope that doesn't let's hope that's not what it comes down to. Han, come back on the show, brother, please. Anything you want to say before you go, brother?
I'm always here, so I'll come on anytime.
All right, man. If you come out to California, hit me up, dude. I like I said, if the Warriors do win a 5th championship, I'm getting a Steve Kerr tattoo. I'm never ripping the dude again. So that's how much it means to me for Steph to get that 5th championship. And so hopefully you come out there if that happens.
They could kill my conspiracy if Steph gets his 5th.
There you go, brother. There you go. Han, enjoy the weed. Do you do like what kind of strain are we talking here, man? I'm guessing indica, so you can be relaxed.
Only hybrids.
Okay, so you want a little pep. All right. I respect that. I respect that. Thanks for jumping on, man. I really do appreciate that. By the way, before you go, in case
No
you were
problem.
curious, a few people in the chat did the conversion of Nato's insane donation. Apparently 398 Hong Kong dollars is approximately $50. It's good for an eighth.
That's
You just
nice.
gave me an eighth of quality bud.
Yes.
Nato, look at you,
Get the
man.
high
Thank
quality.
you. And Han Solo, you gave me time, dude, which is a priceless commodity. Thank you, brother. I really do
No
appreciate
problem.
that, man. And I think the Warriors will be okay. I think so.
Yeah, they should. Hopefully, I think they should make a trade.
Yes. And Sports Talk, jump on the show if you want. Han Solo, whatever you end up doing the rest of the night, dude, even if you just pass out, I hope it's a beautiful sleep. I hope whatever you do the rest of the night is wonderful.
Probably get on some Call of Duty, kick some ass real quick.
There you go. There you go. Have a great night, brother.
You too.
I feel like you and I can hang, dude. Have a good night, Han. Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, brother. And yes, Sports Talk, you can jump on, man. If you come in, I will bring you on the show. If anybody wants to come on, man, this is an open platform. And again, SG Sports Talk. Come on, dude. I saw you trying to get in earlier. We'll be on the air for a few more minutes. So if you want to jump on, now is the time. And again, the Warriors, unfortunately, even though I feel like the vibes are good right now on this Saturday night, the results were not. 104-94, the final. The Warriors losing to the San Antonio Spurs on a night where Brandin Podziemski officially is forcing alarms to be raised. The fire department is going to his house. You got paramedics going there. You've got the Bellevue folks because they might have to take him to the psych ward. It is serious panic time for Brandin Podziemski. They got to rectify that situation on top of everything else. Let's go around the NBA to wrap up the show for tonight. Unless there's anything else. You just had the link, Sports Talk. I saw you there a moment ago. Did you lose it? Here, I'll give it to you one more time. Here, one more time. Here is the link as we start to wrap it up. And I'm going to get the NBA scoreboard. We'll be back on the show again. Golden Days will be back very soon. The Warriors next play Monday. So Sophia Jones will join me for that post-game show. The Warriors are back home hosting the Brooklyn Nets. Talk about the exact medicine that the Warriors needed, an opponent like Brooklyn who they should beat the ever-living shit out of. They should, in theory. If Brandin Podziemski is going to bust his slump, and I don't know what a slump buster is in terms of basketball, I would imagine that the Brooklyn Nets are the fat chick or the fat dude that you need if you're in a slump. That is who Brooklyn is. SG, you're on the show, brother. How you doing?
Hey,
Welcome.
how you doing?
Doing all right, man. It would have been better if the Warriors won, but we're doing okay. How are you?
I really love your YouTube channel.
Thank you. Thank you. And like I said, did you email me yet? So, because you asked me to.
I'll email you.
Please do. Please do.
Look,
Mitchell and Ness is telling me to be nice to you. So you've got fans yourself, Shardal.
I really love your channel. You
Thank
bring
you.
the laughter. You make the show very entertaining. I really love tuning in.
Thank you.
You laugh at yourself sometimes.
You have to, man. I mean, none of us are perfect, myself included. And
it's called self-deprecating humor.
Yeah, I guess. Okay. Yeah, sure. Yes. I could be self-deprecating. I feel like we all should be occasionally, but Shardal, thank you, man. That's you're being too nice almost. Well, how can I be nice to you in terms of a topic of conversation?
So I've been having a bad day in the sports world. The
Why?
Warriors lost. The Sharks lost. I just went to the Sharks game. We lost 4-2. So I've been having a really bad day in the world of sports. I mean, I hope my Warriors could have won. The Sharks could have won. It's just a bad day in general.
So are you a South Bay person if you're a Sharks fan? I'm going to guess.
I live in the San Francisco Bay Area.
Well, I know that, but I said South Bay. Like, are you near San Ho or we're in the Bay Area?
I'm near San Jose and San Francisco, near that area.
What, Redwood City? Like, where are we talking?
No, San Francisco and San Jose area, Northern California.
I know that. I'm asking what specific city are you in?
Fremont.
Oh, okay. I went to grammar school in Fremont. I went to Grimmer Elementary and Wybell Elementary. Do you know those schools?
I know Wybell. It's right near my house.
There you go. So you're in Mission San Jose. Is that correct?
I graduated from Mission San Jose in 2015.
I know where you're at, dude. All right, so you're Fremont's in the hood. Fremont's a surprisingly big city, dude. People don't realize that. It's got a lot of people living there. It's got a lot of space.
So what are some tips you give to the Warriors if they want to bounce back from this loss against the Spurs? I mean, they fought. The Warriors fought really hard. I mean, this is what I like about the Warriors. They fight really hard to the end.
Yes, they're not quitters. And again, this game did not concern me that much. It is not every day that NBA teams play 3 games in 4 nights. And the Warriors, one of their most important young pieces, was not even here tonight. That's who you rely on for extra bursts of energy, is your youth. And Kuminga was ill. Their other primary young player that they rely on, Brandin Podziemski, has completely lost his mind. So, I'm not worried, is what I'm trying to say, dude. Like they rely too much on their veterans, and the veterans are not going to be able to give you 4 quarters of 100% play on the 3rd game of 4 nights. Damn near impossible. So I'm trying to say, look, the Sharks are a whole different beast. I'm a former season ticket holder for the Sharks. I used to love going to the tank. I love the Sharks, but I also don't follow them at all. So all I can tell you about the Sharks is don't count on them to ever win the Stanley Cup, because the moment you get your expectations up, that's when they're going to break your heart the hardest. So keep your expectations low with the Sharks. And thankfully,
I'm a longtime Sharks fan, and I love the team, and I try and go to as many games to the tank as possible, just to kind of boost the team and boost up morale in the team. So make sure there's everything is good, and the organization has a respect. But the Sharks are a really good team, but they have traded all their players. They had such great players coming from this team. They had Marlowe, Pavelski, Thorn organization, but if they would play better, they would end up making miracles happen. But looks like I'm going to go to as many Sharks games as I can.
Okay.
Throughout the season.
Chardol, you're breaking up on me. Real quick, producer Ryan wants to know how you're doing. Chardol,
Ryan,
producer Ryan wants to know how you're doing.
Phenomenal. How are you doing?
All right, good. Are you driving right now? What's going on with you? Why are you cutting out so much?
For the Warriors, I mean, like Victor Wembanyama was phenomenal.
Dude shoots too many 3-pointers, in my opinion. Like for a guy that size.
I mean, in the Olympics, when they played against Team USA, it was great. I mean, like it was good to see, but it's always also well at that rate. Warriors fan, but whenever my team does not when my team chokes leads or gives away,
it's heartbreaking.
or does things like that,
it hurts.
Which just tell me, like, you're a professional basketball team and you have to maintain your lead.
You're absolutely right, Chardol. Before we go, do you want the Warriors to make a trade? And if yes, what are you thinking?
I don't want the Warriors to make a trade. Not right now. Let's wait a little bit.
All right.
Because we don't know who we're gonna acquire if we do make a trade. I mean, there's so many players out there that we can end up picking from that would make a big impact on the organization of the team. But I think I think this Warriors team will go far. I think, like, do you think that they're gonna make it to the playoffs?
Oh yeah. I think the bigger question is, are they gonna win the West and play in the NBA Finals? And I'm not letting this game in any way dissuade me, man. I still think this team's legit.
I mean, in this game, Draymond Green and Brandin Podziemski were an absolute utter embarrassment. They were like 0 of 1, 0 of 3. They didn't score any points. Dude, Draymond Green, I rather just trade the guy.
Whoa! All right, that's a bold take, Chardol.
No, because Draymond Green is acting, because his antics on the court are just like, I can't take his antics. He's punching people on the court. getting suspended. He's getting ejected. Steve Kerr cannot handle this guy at all because some guy who does those antics on the court and people just say like, this guy is like, we can't rely on this guy. This guy will keep on getting suspended. You keep on getting ejected. He'll keep on doing these things. Like, just trade him. Just trade Draymond Green. Trade Draymond Green to the Pistons.
Sure, before you go, the Warriors can trade DeAnthony Melton, who makes his contract is slated for $12.9 million approximately this year. The Warriors can trade that deal and get someone back. I'm sure there's someone out there who wouldn't mind the expiring contract. Is there anyone out there that is on your wish list that besides Draymond? Let's say they're trading. I mean, and I hear you, man. I respect the opinion. But if the Warriors were going to trade DeAnthony Melton, is there anyone out there that looks good to you?
I would really one player that really stands out to me that I really would want to get in a trade, Miles Turner.
All right, you're the second person who said that. Well, I highly doubt Indiana would give him up for nothing. But here's the problem with Miles Turner: Indiana will not trade him. They value him too much. But I hear you, man.
So I'm currently on my way to 300 subscribers. I'm trying to get like channel memberships. I want to get
Bravo.
Super
How can I help you with
like
that? How can I help you?
And I need you to get as many people to subscribe to my channel so I can get up to 300 subscribers. Because once I get to 300 subscribers, I'm gonna do a hangout stream and I'm gonna bring people on my channel.
Well, tell people how they can follow. Tell people how they can find you, man.
My YouTube channel is SG Sports Talk channel. Hit the like and subscribe button and smash that notification bell so you'll be updated the next time I go live on my channel.
All right. And again, email me and I will be a guest on your show, okay?
And I would love to have you on my channel because I love everything you do.
Thank you,
I love all the content that you make on this channel. You really slay it every single day. I mean, you really keep it 100 all the time. That's what I like about you.
Thank you, brother. Producer Ryan in the chat says, though, that he's not going to subscribe to you until you show your face. So if not tonight, just keep that in mind.
So I'll definitely show my face. But next time I come on your YouTube channel, I'll put on a suit. I'll wear a black jacket.
No, don't do that.
With a black shirt. I'll wear a black bow tie, black pants, and then I'll get a I'll come on and look suave when I come on the show.
You don't have to though. You don't have to do that shirt all. But
I wanna do it.
Okay, well, you do what you want to do. I'll respect it either way.
I wanna look good. I wanna look good.
All right. Okay.
On your show. I mean, I'm a very handsome looking guy. I like to come on your show.
Sounds good, Shardal. I look forward to seeing your face and email me when you want me on your show, and I'll be a guest. Okay.
I'll definitely email you to come on my channel, and I really love all the thing you do. I'll keep on supporting you, brother, and I hope you have a great night. And
too,
if I'm available next time, please send me the link in the chat, and I'll click on the link. I love hopping on the show talking basketball with you. Everything Golden State Warriors.
All right, Shardal. Thank you so much. Have a great night, brother.
See you later, Sai, and have a great
rest of your... Thank you. That was incredible. All right. Thank you, Shardal. Thank you, everyone, for joining me tonight, making what was a very somber mood a whole lot more lighthearted. That was fun. Thank you, everyone. And again, this will be a topic on a future show. I might even go live tomorrow to discuss it. That DeAnthony Melton $12.9 million, the Warriors can trade that. And that might be the answer where you don't have to give up any assets. You can literally just ship that 12.9, get a contract that comes within 75% of that value, and it's a straight up deal. Now, they can't go above it because of the salary cap situation, but I'm sure you can find something. And there's a lot of teams out there that would happily take an expiring. I'm looking at every one of those tanking teams who are tanking specifically for the greatness that will be Cooper Flag. All right, let's Susan, thank you. And thank you for everyone. And to wrap up the show, let's go around the NBA. Let's see how the other teams are doing, and we'll call it a night. The Milwaukee Bucks, as we've been talking about, have done a complete flip of the script. They won again tonight. Now, granted, this is what happens when you play in the Eastern Conference. It is easy to flip your season around when the competition is that ridiculously weak. 125-119, the Bucks defeat the Charlotte Hornets in Milwaukee. Giannis Antetokounmpo, who is officially now on the MVP radar, 32 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists for him. LaMelo Ball, who, side note, I do still get tinged with regret when I hear his name or mention his name or just anything reminds me of him, because he could have been a Warrior. Well, he scored 50 points tonight and also had 10 assists in the loss. The Portland Trailblazers, folks, if you're a Warriors fan and tonight's loss bummed you out, take a look at this score. The Houston Rockets, a lot of people are hyping them up, and maybe rightfully so. They have a lot of talent on that team. They lost at home to the Portland Trailblazers, 104-98. Anthony Simons, 25 points for Portland. I think, is it Amen or Osser? I forgot which brother is on Houston. I think it's Amen, or Amen, I'm sorry, with a 19.7 rebounds in the losing effort for Houston. The Memphis Grizzlies, a high-scoring affair, defeated the Chicago Bulls in Chicago, 142-131. Scottie Pippen Jr., 30 points, 10 assists. Nikola Vucevic, 26 points, 8 rebounds in the loss. The Grizzlies improved to 10-7. The Bulls dropped to 7-11. I forgot to mention records here for the other teams. Milwaukee's now 8-9. Charlotte has dropped to 6-10. The Rockets dropped to 12-6 after their loss to the Trailblazers, which means the Warriors have a full one-game lead on Houston right now. Portland improved to 7-10 with their win. The Chicago Bulls are now 7-11 after losing to the Memphis Grizzlies, who are now 10-7 after that win tonight. The Orlando Magic, and a lot of people are hyping up Franz Wagner, who's been putting up stats and numbers and hitting game-winning shots ever since Paolo Banchero was knocked out with injury. It's been the Franz Wagner show. 30 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists for Franz. And Jaden Ivey, 19.7 rebounds in the loss for Detroit. Orlando improves to 11-7. Detroit drops to 7-11. 7-11. 7 with the back door. Utah Jazz improve to 4-12. See, at least Warriors fans, you're not a Knicks fan. Those folks right now are in depression. Their team lost to Utah. The Utah Jazz beating the New York Knicks 121-106. Lauri Markkanen, yes, the same Lauri Markkanen that the Warriors, if reports are true, would not give up Brandin Podziemski for. Could you imagine Lauri Markkanen on the Warriors right now? Makes me sick. 121-106 the final. Again, Lauri with 34 points, 9 rebounds. OG Anunoby, 27 points and 3 steals for the Knicks in the loss. And last but certainly not least, the Denver Nuggets. There's about 9:44 remaining in this game, but it looks like it's already a foregone conclusion. The Nuggets leading the LA Lakers 103-80. And that should hold up, barring a massive comeback by the Lakers. I don't see it. Nikola Jokic currently in this game, 26 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists. Austin Reeves with 19 points for the losing LA Lakers. Producer Ryan asking, how do you feel about making a move for Cam Johnson? If it's DeAnthony Melton and let's say a first-round pick, sign me up. We'll talk about that and so much more soon. So I want to see if there's anything else I missed on the chat. Nato Santo. Look, see, now we're friends. Isn't it amazing just what one line of communication can do in this world? It is a shame where people do not talk. Saying he feels me on LaMelo. Yeah, that hurts, but what are you going to do? And thank you again, Nato. Not just for the conversation, but Jesus, you gave me apparently real money. Thank you for that contribution. I don't know why Dennis Schroeder's name is coming up from Fang USFU. Maybe because he's on the Nets and the Warriors are playing the Nets next. I would not trade Brandin Podziemski for Dennis Schroeder, though. It seems like Brandin Podziemski has actual value where you can get someone real for him. But as I'm sure you folks know, Steve Kerr loves that kid. I highly doubt they're going to trade him. I digress. All right. Yeah, and you're writing trade for him. I'm cool with Schroeder if you're giving up DeAnthony Melton's expiring. I don't know if I'm giving up Podziemski for him. And Rafael Luna, I agree. He should be in the G League. Look, if Jordan Poole could get sent there in year 2, if Moses Moody could get sent there in year 2, why can't Podziemski? I think he needs it. He needs some sort of positive environment around him. Yeah. All right. I guess that's it. Have a wonderful Saturday night, everyone. Thanks for all the folks who actually jumped in. Again, Nato, nice to meet you. Thank you for the very generous contribution. Bill M., thank you for the contribution as well. We shall see what happens with Jonathan Kuminga. Kev F., welcome to the Golden Dazer community. And if you ever are curious yourselves about the membership, it's $2.99 a month, a cup of coffee, and the link is in the description of every YouTube post or podcast. Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your Saturday night. I know the result is not what any of us wanted. If there is good news, though, it's that the Warriors are still 12-4. And when you look at the standings, which I'm going to take a look at right now, they are still in first place in the Western Conference. The Warriors and the Thunder have equal 12-4 records. Very important to note as well that the Warriors have played 16 games this season, and I believe 10 of the 16, I'm going to confirm that right now really fastly, have been on the road. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 road games out of the 16. So what does that mean? They're going to have a lot more home games coming up, and that's a good thing. It does seem like there has been a reversion back to the mean in terms of the Warriors no longer being a better road team than a better home team. So they'll have the comfy confines of Chase Center awaiting. Thank you, everyone. Sincerely, thank you. I could use the positive vibes as well. We all could. So I'm reading what you're writing and I'm taking it all in. Thank you. And Dean Chambers asking, why do I have the flag of Tanzania on my hat? One of my best friends in the whole world. One of my best friends from college, Jerry Montgomery, who's out there. I believe he's in Nashville right now. Used to work at the Peace Corps, and he'd bring me souvenirs, which was really cool of him. And this one I still have. I've had this hat for like 20 years, but it just sat there for like 15 of them. And then I recently started wearing it, and it's a good fit. So anyways, thank you, everyone. Have a great night. We'll be back at this either tomorrow, but if not tomorrow, definitely Monday. Warriors and Nets post game. Sophia Jones will join me. Until then, thank you as always, and have a great night, everyone. Bye-bye.